On today's video, you're going to be finding distance on a number line. In order for you to find the distance, you need to find the absolute value of the difference of the numbers. Remember, when I say difference, I'm talking about subtraction. So you find their absolute value and then you subtract those two numbers, okay? Let's take a look at one example so you can understand. You're going to find the distance between negative 1/3 and negative 2 on a number line. As you need to find the absolute value of the difference, I am going to be using the bars, the absolute value bar. So it will be absolute value of negative 2 minus negative 1/3. You might wonder, why do you put negative 2 first? Because that's the absolute value that is the greatest one, okay? So it will be absolute value, again, of negative 2. Whenever you're subtracting rationals, you need to add the opposite. So it will be plus positive 1/3, because that's the opposite of negative 1/3, okay? So after that, you can see that now you have different signs. So when you have different signs, you subtract their absolute value. Absolute value of negative 2, it will be positive 2 minus positive 1/3, okay? Remember that under each whole number, there is an invisible 1. As they have different denominators, I cannot subtract them. So I need to find their least common denominator. In this case, is 3. So I'm going to multiply 1 times 3 here. And also the numerator, 2 times 3. So it will be 2 times 3 is equals to 6. 1 times 3 is equals to 3. Minus positive 1/3. Now that they have the same denominators, I can subtract their numerators. 6 minus 1 is 5, and I'll keep the same denominator. But you have an improper fraction, so you need to change it to a mixed number by dividing them. 5 divided by 3. 3 only fits one time into 5, so it will be 3 times 1 is equals to 3, and 5 minus 3 equals to 2. This whole number is going to be 1, the numerator is going to be 2, and the denominator stays the same. In this case, it will be the absolute value of negative 1 and 2/3, because negative 2 is greater than 1/3. And now I just need to find the absolute value of negative 1 and 2/3, which is positive 1 and 2/3. Now I would like you to pause the video and try to do this one by yourself. All right? In this case, we're going to be finding the distance between negative 7 and 5/10 and negative 15 and 3/10. As you need to find the absolute value of the difference of these two numbers, I am going to do absolute value of negative 15 and 3/10 first, okay? Because that's the greatest absolute value. Absolute value of negative 15 and 3/10 minus, because we're finding the difference, we're subtracting them, negative 7 and 5/10. Remember that when you're subtracting rational numbers, you're adding the opposite. So it will be absolute value of negative 15 and 3/10 plus the opposite of negative 7 and 5/10. It is positive 7 and 5/10. So I'm going to just rewrite it here, plus positive 7 and 5/10. So as you can see, they have different signs. When they have different signs, you need to subtract them. So absolute value of negative 15 and 3/10 is positive 15 and 3/10. Now I'm going to subtract the absolute value of positive 7 and 5/10, which is positive 7 and 5/10. Remember to make sure to line up the decimal point, because if you do not do that, your answer will be wrong. I cannot subtract 3 minus 5, 5 minus 7, so I need to ungroup my 1. So it will be, this one will become 0. This one will become 15, but not for long, because I still need help for the 3. So this one will become 13. Now I am ready to subtract. 13 minus 5 is equals to 8. Now bring down the decimal point. 14 minus 7 is equals to 7. So my answer as the greatest absolute value is negative, it will be absolute value of negative 7 and 8 tenths, which is equals to positive 7 and 8 tenths. That will be your answer. Pause the video and try to do this one by yourself. As you can see, you're going to find the distance between negative 3 and 1/4 and positive 2 and 1/4. Remember that you need to find the absolute value of the difference of these two numbers. So it will be absolute value of negative 3 and 1/4 minus positive 2 and 1/4. Okay? So now, remember that when we're finding the difference, we need to add the opposite. So it will be absolute value of negative 3 and 1/4 plus the opposite of positive 2 and 1/4. That it is negative 2 and 1/4. Let's see. There you go. As you can see, they have the same sign. So you're going to add their absolute values. So let's see. Absolute value of negative 3 and 1/4, it is positive 3 and 1/4. So let's add them here. And then absolute value of negative 2 and 1/4, it is positive 2 and 1/4. Now I am ready to add my mixed numbers. So I'm going to add the wholes first. 3 plus 2 is 5. As they have the same denominators, I can add their numerators. 1 plus 1 is 2. Denominator stays the same. You can simplify this fraction, so it will be half, because if I divide it by 2 here, and also in the numerator, I am going to have 5 wholes and a half. As they have the same sign, I'll keep the same sign. So it will be absolute value of negative 5 and a half, which is positive 5 and a half.